Maria Leo, I'm happy to have you once again. This is What's the Truth? What is your truth about addiction? Addiction is something that has affected us. It's affecting almost everyone in Kenya as at now. Let us see from the point of addiction to the last point of it, to the point where now somebody reforms. What happens? What is the story in between and outside it? We are honored to have Isaack. I wouldn't do a great justice if I do the introduction. Could you kindly introduce yourself to our viewers and also to, yes.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm Isack Mwibanda. I'll be clocking 56 years this April. Yeah, married with 6 children. And yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you've done a myriad of so many things. Women conference, talking to teens about addiction, adults. Would you tell us slightly more about that?
Yeah, since 2001, when I quit my addictions, I immediately started doing ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, nobody told me. I didn't pray for what to do. Immediately I got born again. I knew exactly what was there for me to do. So I started doing missions 1 month into salvation. Later I started doing schools. I started doing prisons. I do youth conferences. I do young adults. I do prisons too, and I also help church leaders understand how to reach out, embrace the addicted. I have a training I call Strategic Evangelism, which is tailor-made to reach out to the addicted, to the criminals, to prostitutes, because I found out through my experience when I used to walk in a church and people knew this is a drug addict, and there was that stigma. And I've seen it in churches when a person who was a criminal gets saved and gets into church, you'll find that it's possible he'll have the whole bench, the whole pew. Nobody wants to sit close, or a prostitute for that matter. And I love Jesus because for me, Jesus is my role model. I find him with criminals in the Bible. In fact, he was crucified with 2 thieves. He would hang out with the Mary, former prostitutes. He'd be with tax collectors. You'd be with the Samaritan woman, you see? So there's that disconnect in our churches nowadays. We still see these people as sinners, even if they confess Jesus and they come to church as born agains. Even if they are not, we should thank God that they're in church. That's the best place, the right place for them. Sure. So, in short, that's what I do. Did I mention prisons?
Yes, you mentioned.
So basically, that's how I also do one-on-one addiction counseling. Yeah.
Wow. For you to get that, you've said you're 56 years old.
Yeah,
you don't look.
56. I'll be 56 this April. April 2nd. That's my birthday.
Sure. So 2001 is when you
quit.
You quit.
June.
So you started at what age?
At just to briefly talk about my upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in a Christian family.
Mm-hmm.
Up to now, my mom and dad, I thank God they're both alive.
Mm-hmm.
They're staunch Christians.
Sure.
So my dad used to be in KDF.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in a military setup. And my mother was a church elder.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were church elders. So I found myself in a Christian family
Mm-hmm.
where church was not an option. I remember as a kid growing up, maybe 3-4 years old, and every Tuesday in our house, in the barracks, we grew up in the barracks.
Mm-hmm.
So every Tuesday,
Here in Nairobi?
yeah, in Nairobi.
Yes.
So soldiers after work would come for fellowship.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it was a must
Mm-hmm.
for us. We were in the house, we were sing hymns with them. I hear testimonies. So Sunday school, I remember reciting memory verses, doing the plays in
Church.
Sunday school plays, in front of your parents, sitting in front.
Mm-hmm.
So even in my early age, I knew God, I knew Jesus, I knew what salvation was. I knew what was right to do, what was wrong to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I had even at the back of my mind. I knew to abuse people, to fight.
Mm-hmm.
I remember those days, even when we were kids, we play and then you cheat
Mm-hmm.
in a game. I'll tell somebody or somebody will tell you, Mungu anakuona tu. So that at the back of my mind, that was there. I knew what was right and
Mm-hmm.
what was wrong.
During addiction.
Yeah. And since I grew up in a barracks, seeing soldiers getting drunk, drinking, even I remember at class 6, I knew what marijuana was because I could see some soldiers smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So I started having an idea of what alcohol is, what cigarette is,
At a
what
tender age.
marijuana, yeah, because it was in the barracks, it was there. And also I used to hang around sometimes with friends who were in the military, and they would do stuff, and it didn't make sense to me then, but I knew this wasn't a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad was in the military intelligence, so most times he
wasn't around.
Yeah, he was an absentee father, so to speak. Yeah, but he was born again. I've never seen my dad drinking. Never seen him with a cigarette. I've never seen him up to now abusing my mom or physically assaulting her. They are both alive. And so I always tell people it was the best couple, the best parents. I had everything. I'm the firstborn in a family of 7. And I remember even in school, I had the best of stuff,
Wow.
Yeah, so there goes, I do my primary, my CPE. I think we were the last people.
Oh, you are in the other system. The old system.
Yeah, I think I did.
That is 7?
7 years primary, 4 years in secondary, 2 years in A-level, then 3 years
in
at
university.
the university.
That is 7, 4, 2, 3.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. So I did my CPE. went to my high school in Thika.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I was away.
Mm-hmm. So you are day scholar
In primary,
in
yeah.
primary.
Yeah.
So your first time in high school, in a boarding school.
In a boarding school was in Form 1. That's way back in 1984.
Mm-hmm.
And so here I am. I'm in high school. And during those days, I remember there was a lot of bullying in our schools.
Mm-hmm.
Very bad, very bad. It was crazy. Yeah, because I was in Thika,
Mm-hmm.
I picked some guys also who are from Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
And so, identity, you get to see these guys I can hang out with from Nairobi. So I find out some guys from Nairobi. So it seemed to be a perfect match because all of us.
Before we get to that, would you tell us a bit of the bullying? This is 1984. I thought people weren't bullying, and the nature of the bullying, or an example.
It was like somebody would take your pocket money.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to buy loaf,
Mm-hmm.
or you buy the loaf, somebody gets it from you.
Mm-hmm.
He's bigger than you. He's maybe a class ahead of you, or they are just those tough, rude boys in school.
Mm-hmm.
I remember what I dreaded most was there are guys who'd put a shoe. I don't know what they used to do. They made sure the shoe was stinking. That stench was just too much. I don't know what they used to do. It's like a dead cat for days.
Wow.
And then
so you wouldn't even put on that shoe again?
No, that's meant for bullying. It was just put somewhere, and they tell you use it like a telephone.
Oh God.
That means you have to put the nose and the mouth in the shoe. And then you call home for your parents to send you money to buy them loaf.
So you'd call home?
It was meant to be, but it's a shoe.
It's a shoe.
Those days there were no cell phones.
Yeah, I can imagine there weren't. But there were boots, telephone boots.
Yeah. But now this is just for bullying.
Yeah.
At night. Chukua hii kiatu, piga home simu, ambie dadia atumedoea mkate. And they had to make sure it covers. And it was, wow, I tried once. I don't know what they used to put in there. It was specifically meant for that. So.
Well, that is bad.
Yeah, it was bad. And so.
Is that the reason why now you had to look for a clique?
Yes, because by then I was a tiny. Was tiny. And I had to somehow find a way to survive. A survival tactic, so to speak. And so these guys, there were 4 guys. And 3 of them were expelled. I remember one from Pumwani, one from Isili, and one from Jamhuri High School. And I didn't know then, but when I joined them is when I came to know they were expelled because of drugs, marijuana.
What is the name of the school?
It was called Equator High School.
Equator High School.
It's in Thika.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me to, and these guys, because they were expelled because of marijuana, they were also into boxing. Into
boxing.
They were boxers.
The actual, yes.
They were boxers. So for me, that was the best because now
They
with
will
these
defend
tough
you.
guys who
Mm-hmm.
will defend me.
Mm-hmm.
They were like my bouncers, so to speak. And so I
Mm.
joined them.
Mm.
I didn't know what they were. Excuse. But
Sorry.
when I joined them, the first day after breakfast, we sneak out of school. And we go, there was a crematorium,
Mm-hmm.
a Hindu where Hindus burn their
They
dead.
are dead. Yeah.
Yeah, behind there was a river.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had tied a sack with the sand inside,
Mm-hmm.
the punching bag.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a punching bag.
It was a punching bag in a sack, that was now the boxing thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we go there, and before they start anything, they start smoking marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew marijuana, but I didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
But because I joined them, they told me there's no way you'll work with us if you don't. So in fact, I was bullied into it because I had two options: either join us
or you
and smoke. But even if you go back, maybe you'll go and report. So I was caught up. So they wouldn't even let me
go.
Yeah, without smoking. So that even if I report, it's like we are
both. We are
together.
all. Yes.
Yeah, so I was bullied.
So you didn't even have an option.
I didn't have an option.
And this was a way of protecting yourself.
Yeah, so I thought maybe the best option was for me to start. So first day it was tricky because of coughing. But with time, I came to graduate, so to speak.
So the smoking, it was, they used to, it looked like a cigarette. They used Rizla or something like that. Rizla.
Yeah, but it's not smooth.
It's not smooth.
Yeah, even the rolling itself, there's a big difference between a cigarette and marijuana. Yeah.
So you smoked.
I smoked.
So your first drug was marijuana.
Then with time, cigarettes.
Now this is a school setup. This is a boarding school. The teachers weren't strict, or the environment wasn't enclosed to a point that somebody would know there's the smell of.
In schools,
yes,
it's very easy to disguise the smell. One, you can either chew gum, you can go with Colgate. You can go with Colgate. After now you've done your stuff, you're going back to school, you just put Colgate in your mouth.
It's like mint.
Yeah, and then you even pour it on your hands and just rub hands. Instead of spitting, you spit on your hands. So that now the
smell will be disguised. So
yeah,
parents ought to be careful of their children and be very close to them.
Yes, because if you just notice a change of something, because even nowadays you can do perfume. Yeah, strong perfumes in school, and mostly it's a disguise to some smell.
Before even we proceed, I'm now thinking about your parents. This is first term Form 1.
The first week.
Oh my God, the first week. You're bullied the first week.
Yes. That was an initiation in schools. You enter that night, the first night.
Yes.
You will not sleep well because you'll be bullied the whole night.
I know times have changed. Things have progressed, but there's nothing new under the sun. So there's a way that parents ought to be close to their children to get to know. There was visiting.
Yeah, but during our time, when you reported in January,
Uh-huh.
you'll go home during half term.
Or half term. So
Yeah.
during half term, let us go to half term. Your mom is a believer. She's a prayerful woman, right? That is what I heard. At Mzee wa Kanisa. Did you say so? Yes. She didn't notice something?
Sadly, addiction is noticed when somebody's already addicted.
Sadly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because sometimes what I think is this self-denial. Is like, I'm a kid.
I cannot
You
do
notice
that.
something is not right, something suspicious, but it's like, just like, it can't be.
It can't be my son.
Yeah,
It
because
can't
I
be my
remember
daughter.
when I went for half term,
Mm-hmm.
I was rude. I started being rude. I started fighting my brothers. Like now they were the real punching bags. And then I started even smoking. When my dad wasn't there mostly, so when my mom goes to work, I light it in the bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
I disguise the smell. It might smell like somebody's frying something in the house. and here I'm there. I'm there smoking. And so my siblings would notice. And then I would like threaten them,
if
you report me, then you will see. And they knew because I would hit them, so they knew I'd changed, So my mother was a full-time. She worked, she was a civil servant. So she leaves in the morning, she comes back at night. Yeah, so when I went back after half term,
yes.
after half term, I remember cigarettes were very, very cheap in the barracks. I went with 20 packets.
20.
Now
you became the supplier.
Yeah. Not for selling, just to buy favors. Yeah.
Oh, to buy favors.
Yeah. The cooks, if you want more meat, yeah, give them like 5. If you want hot water, the prefects, of course, my crew, you give them each a packet. That was those days. It was wow. Yeah, so I'm reporting back from half term, and I've sneaked in with 20 packets of cigarettes and some alcohol. I've gone to school, and now I'm here because I want favors from the kitchen, from the prefects, from my bad guys. So I was supplying to them, and so that made them like me more. And so it continued. I'm sneaking. I've started going to clubs.
So you sneak from school?
Yeah, in the evening.
In the evening.
But we are not in school because we wake up in the morning, we go to punch bags, we come back for lunch, then go back, punch bags.
The system wasn't that strict?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't very strict then. And so we started clubbing. And so there we end of term 1. From 1, my grades have slipped. And my mother is like, what is happening? She still doesn't know because she's never there. And the kids can't tell because I'll punish them. Yeah, but second term now.
Now you are 14 years?
Yes.
Yes.
When I came back second term, half term, is when now my mother noticed there's something wrong. I'm rude in the house, abusive, violent. And she's when she started noticing, and she informed my dad, who would come once in a while, that there's something wrong with our son. And so one time my dad comes, asks me, I'm told now, umeanza kukua kichwa ngumu. You know, the way soldiers talk, umeanza kuwa mwanaume. Tutajua mwanaume ni nani kwa hii nyumba. So I remember that day, I got some good beating
Did he
from
tell?
my dad. No, it made me hate my dad and made me rebel more. And so I decided now,
You're doing this.
let's see who the man is in the house. So my dad goes back. Now I sunk deeper and deeper. Close second term. That
Now you're taking you're using now cigarettes and marijuana
and alcohol.
and you've started alcohol.
Yeah.
You started in first term.
Yes. First term.
Now at the barracks, it's even cheaper or something
Very
like
cheap.
that.
It was very cheap.
So you'd also supply this to school in school?
Not supply. For me, it was for favors.
For favors.
To buy favors.
Oh, so you'd take
give a packet to the cook. And you know, it's not just those cheap cigarettes. It was even Embassy 555. Yeah, so you give a cook that, and he's smoking roaster, so you'll have all the favors, prefects, so that nobody reports you. And then now my crew, of course. So there I am. I'm doing all this, and now that's second term, August. No, that's first term. I mean, 84, second term.
Midterm.
Then in December, when we closed school for the year, you know, during those days, there were a lot of parties.
Yeah. I think even now.
Yeah, but during President Moi's time, like a barracks, they will bring 100 cows for one barracks. Yeah. Parties will begin from 1st to, I don't know,
December
to 2nd January. Meat and alcohol, people just.
So we used to buy the alcohol.
No, it's free. It's parties.
Free.
Parties, yeah. I remember for kids, we used to be taken to the national park. Yeah, they are party for kids. Then now, party for the parents. So you'd skip this party, goes, you know, in the barracks, we have units. So you're only supposed to go where your dad. Yeah, but now with the barracks where there are 5 or 4 units, you sneak into all of them. Yeah, you sneak into that. So it's when now people now realize that, wow, this kid, because the fathers of your friends, my father's peers would see me. Yeah, it's an open party, an open party, and they'll see me drinking, and I'm drinking, and
and your father is not drinking.
He's not even there.
He's not even there.
Yeah, but now after that, December 84 is when now they went and told my dad, wow,
your son,
that boy, because we saw him with a crate. Yeah, there you are given a crate. If you are drinking, you are given a crate. You go with it. We are now.
You don't have to keep coming.
No, you
crate
don't.
Is 24.
Yeah, it was 24, 25, I think, those days. I think it was 25, if I'm not wrong. Alcohol, I'm not sure. 24, 25. So I'm there taking a lot of alcohol. I'm there smoking in the open. And now people came and told my dad, wow,
your son,
this boy now,
Isaac,
this is crazy. And now my marks had gone
down
very low. And now is when my mother was told, is when now it clicked on them. Now there's something has to be done. So in 1985
January,
my dad organized for me to transfer.
So this is Form 2.
Form 2.
You transferred.
Yeah. So I went to Kanga High School.
Kanga High School is in
South Nyanza, Migori, Migori County. It's a national school. So I'm taken to South Nyanza. that meant I have to travel overnight
Mhm.
to get to school. So that meant I have to do cut.
Mhm.
That's how I started doing cut, mirror.
Cut is mirror.
Mirror.
Mhm.
Yeah, those days there was no mobile car, so it just
So
the
this is
cut.
almost 15 because you said you're born
Yeah,
in
I'm 15.
15.
15.
You're doing mirror.
Yeah.
You're doing cigarettes. You're
Mhm.
doing
Weed.
alcohol
And weed.
and weed.
Yeah.
4
4.
in that tender. That is a young
15
boy
years,
doing
yeah.
this.
And I'm already an addict.
Yes.
Not I'm
Oh,
just
you're already an
I'm
addict.
already an addict. And so there I go to South Nyanza.
Mm-hmm. Did you carry anything?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
How was that possible? Yet your mom is the one who took you to the
You know,
yes.
what I used to do,
Mm.
I remember I'm supposed to report on this day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd wait. My mother's gone to work.
Mm-hmm.
So she tells me, you be ready by 6. I'll come. We'll take you to town to the
6
bus.
in the evening.
Yes.
Yes.
See, I'm traveling at night.
Yes.
So I time maybe at around 4 o'clock. I put all my clothes in water.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just drip dry them, you know.
Mm.
You know, like a sweater, you imagine just
You
dip in
dip
water and just air it the way it is. Of course, it takes longer to dry.
Yes.
So by the time she comes, it's like,
it's wet.
It's wet, you can't go. So that now she tells me, air them tomorrow, we'll go in the evening. So during lunchtime is when they used to open the mess where you can buy alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, you send your friends, they buy.
Mm-hmm.
So you go and put them
inside your clothes.
Yeah, inside the bag. And you travel.
With it.
Yeah, with it. So by the time from the stage to school is quite a distance. So by the time I get to school, I've already...
let me take you. This is which barracks?
By then, in 85, we were in Kahawa Barracks.
Kahawa Barracks.
Yeah,
stage. Where is stage?
Sorry?
The stage where you are supposed to board the bus.
No, I'm saying now I'm already in school.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're already in school.
I've reached Kanga in the morning.
Yes.
Before I get to school, I've already... But even those days, there was no checking.
There was no checking?
Yeah, I remember I could sneak in school with them and cigarettes, and so long as you don't put them in the box, because they were random checks in school.
But when you get to the gate, no checking.
There was no checking like now.
No, they are checking. Then they weren't.
Yeah, but something funny, during our days, we'd carry cocoa, and then I thank my mom because I remember sometimes my dad would come before schools open and tell everybody to write the shopping list. So of course you'd Bonvita. Those days there was Bonvitas like Milo, Treetop, the juice, tomato sauce, jam, Blue Band,
Kiwi.
No, those ones came last. Those ones for me, they came last. Yeah. So I remember the first thing my dad would cancel were those things. And then tell me, are you going to open a supermarket or are you going to read? And so he comes, he cancels, he leaves money for Kiwi, Colgate, soap, the basics. So he goes. The following day, my mom buys for me everything on the list. I remember, indeed, my box was like a supermarket in school.
The way your father would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was there. So even I remember the shoes I went to school with, the shoes, very expensive. My mom would buy for me. But then I forgot to mention, by then I'd started doing curly kit.
Skull kit.
Yeah, and I already had
You had pierced
yeah, I had earrings. 15 years.
15.
Yeah. And I used to play it.
So during the holiday, you would play it.
Yeah, during half term, my mom would send me money to go for half term in Nairobi. I remember she would tell the bazaar, in case he wants any money, you give him. Those days were telegrams. They send money to the post office. So we had calculated, I remember, a loaf of bread was 4 shillings. So every month, 120, I would have a loaf of bread every day. Every day, a loaf of bread for me.
So that is 120 shillings.
Yeah.
For a whole month.
Per month, yeah.
Per month.
Yeah, per term. In case I use more money, of course, I used to sneak and buy drinks. It was cheaper those days, 2 shillings. You get those small beers. So I started, when I go to Kanga, I found there's a lot of changa.
So you used to take a good quality alcohol.
Yeah.
Now we are going to changa.
Changa.
Changa is the spirits.
Yeah, they distill from molasses because there's Sony sugar companies around there.
Yes.
So there's molasses. So there's a way they make changa very conk. Almost 100+%. Yeah, alcoholic content. ABV. So I started doing that. And then I found out the weed there is not like
the weed in Nairobi.
Yeah. The one the sugarcane cutters take, yeah. It was the real weed.
The real weed.
Yeah, and even I remember sometime we would buy weed in stones.
In stones.
Yes. I mean,
in bulk.
The one that has not been rolled. And then we put it in changa. Yeah, it sleeps in changa, and then we put it.
It sleeps in changa.
Yes.
So what you're going to drink is concentrated.
Then the following day.
Yes.
We put it on the iron sheets.
Ikauke.
Yeah, and then with that, the sun, then the whole day. Yeah, so that it gets dry.
So this is changa. Weed. It has soaked the whole night. Then you sun dry. What do you have? No, what will we call that?
The potency, now the weed plus the changa, that's a little thing to do.
Because you've said changa will be 100%.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what we used to smoke. Of course, we would take the changa. Yeah. And so I started DJing.
In Form 2.
Yes. That's when now I started plating, calicute, and I had an earring.
The piercing, yeah.
Yeah, and by 15 now I started DJing. Club DJ.
In school?
I sneak out.
You sneak out in the evening?
Yeah, because that's weekends. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that means most weekends I'm not in school.
There's nobody around this time who would tell you, Isaac, no, you shouldn't be doing this, apart now from your mom. In Kanga, nobody would reach out to you and tell you, amongst your friends, amongst the teachers, your surrounding, there's nobody who would talk to you.
In school, Kanga High School, I was among the bad boys. I remember in the other school, I was this soft guy.
Yes.
But now when I got there, I was the bad boy.
Kijana wa Nairobi.
Yeah. I remember on parade, my name almost every day was the topic. Because I was sneak, go do things, do changa, come back to school drunk.
DJing.
Yes, then smoking weed in the toilets. It was known in school. Everybody knew.
Oh, yeah. Nobody took an initiative.
They did.
They did.
We had, by then, I remember there was, the principal of Kanga was a head teacher. He'd been brought from Starehe. He was called Jorama. You are a disciplinarian. That's why he was brought from Starehe. In fact, I think he was the discipline master in Starehe or something. So it's a very disciplined, but he'd call me and talk to me about life. I mean, you came here to read, just concentrate. But, when you're already in addiction, it's like playing music to a goat. So you don't care. There's nothing to lose. That's what you think. Though I regret a lot then. And so I started a group of bad boys. Now I copied the
other.
Yeah,
the other
so
school.
I replicated the same thing. Now I'm the leader of bad boys in school, sneaking, doing stuff in school, smoking. Everybody knew. And in my pocket, you'd always find Colgate to disguise. Yeah, I go with smoke in the toilet. You disguise. Even come pluck some plants, the leaves with the ones that smell. Yeah, because there's a time I remember the headmaster found me. I was coming from the toilet, and that day I didn't carry
the Colgate.
I'd forgotten the Colgate in the desk. So it's like he called me straight away. It became a joke in school because I was smelling marijuana. And he took me to class. Then he called, I was with another guy. And so he called the brother of this guy who was in Form 1 as we were in Form 4 to come and smell.
You guys.
Yeah, and I remember I was joking with that guy. I met him the other day in Karen. I was reminding him that thing.
The one who was smelling you.
Yeah, and then he was asked, he was asked, what are these guys smelling? And they said, that is their normal. That's how they smell. So, people laughed, but he was, for him, he was saying the truth, but he didn't know he wasn't using. He was selling us.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It was an innocent
Yeah, he was a naive Form 1.
Yeah.
And that's how we used to smell. Anyway.
He wasn't using.
No. He wasn't using
it. There's a place where I've met you skip. You would put the marijuana and changa. You'll sun dry. Then
smoke.
Oh, then smoke.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Wow, you just in another world.
Because that is alcohol and marijuana.
Just conk. Just a little conk.
It will come in powderish form?
No, you just, after now drying, is now when you roll.
You roll it.
Yeah, you remove, we used to call it to sun, if you like, to clean.
Yeah.
You clean it up and now roll it.
All right.
And speak. I remember now, because it was known I do that in school, the teacher would call me.
Your parents know.
Yeah, but by then I'm already into it. I'm already addicted. And I've started DJing. During weddings in the barracks. I would be with my friends, be the DJ. So it was already known I'm a DJ, I'm alcoholic, I do weed. Yeah. And so when I started DJing is when I started doing mad drugs and Valium.
Mad drugs, what is it? I've had mad drugs. What is that?
Those pills. They're prescription pills.
Prescription
Yeah, there's
pills.
some for insomnia,
Is there a song
anxiety.
that talks about mad drugs?
Maybe nowadays, I don't know.
I think it was there.
Yes, it was. They are prescription pills mostly for insomnia, anxiety, panic attacks. Yeah, but now we were abusing them to get high.
So you're doing changa, you're doing mira, you're doing marijuana, cigarettes,
alcohol.
now alcohol,
Yeah,
mad drugs,
and Valium.
And Valium in Form 2.
Yeah, 15
at 15.
Years. Yeah, 15
7
years. Yes.
in one body.
Yes.
Huh?
And by the time, and now, because in school now they started, we go to preps. The teacher will come, Isaac, let's go to the dorm, open your box. They do searches.
Will they find anything?
They didn't. They never found. So I became clever. Let me use that word. So in my Bonvita, the teen, those days they were teens. Yeah? I would now make sure the weed, weed, I put them inside.
Inside.
Yeah.
So if you open the Bonvita, there is.
Yeah, you just find the
Bonvita
beverage.
itself.
Yeah. Yes. But inside, even me, I have to
look for it.
Yeah, the finger.
Yes.
And then I would like the Colgate. I would get, when they buy for me, Colgate, because I would go with 2. 2 tubes.
The big ones.
Yes. My mother, I used to request for 2. 1, because it was my perfume and my to rinse my mouth. Number 2, it was my hiding place for drugs. So one tube, I'll empty
the tube,
the half, before I go to school, in the sink. So behind the Colgate where they fold,
yes,
I open. And then
so you've emptied halfway.
Yes.
So this bit is
empty.
So you open.
Yeah, I open.
Oh, they used to fold.
It even up to now.
Up to now.
Just, you
like
fold.
Close up.
Yeah, you just fold. It's you just fold. You can open it.
Yeah.
And then open and you see. So I put the drugs in a polythene. Then I put them in.
You touch it in.
Yeah. Then I
fold it back.
I fold it back. So when they do searches, they knew I used to do, but they never found. So you become, even now in schools, evidence. In schools, the kids are inventing a lot of stuff they're doing now in school. So that's how I survive. I used to survive. They knew I was, but they never found it for the 3 years I was there. And so again, now grades started going down. Absenteeism, I'm violent. If a prefect reports me, fights here and there. And so one incident I'll not forget. 2. One in 87, when we were about to do our exams. We had a lot of marijuana.
In school?
Yes. In fact, we were carrying in a bag. And we threw a party.
In school?
Yeah, marijuana party.
No, students have acclimatized.
Yeah, they knew. So any person who was smoking marijuana, we told them there is marijuana. And so the school had a sugarcane plantation. Yeah. And so in the middle of the sugarcane plantation, we had created space, almost this room. Yeah, there are 2 incidences I'll never forget. One is we threw a marijuana party Yeah, of course, we used to share marijuana with anybody who was smoking. We had a lot, plenty of it in school. But then Kanga High School was the who is who's, PCs, PSS, DCs, you know, the who is who in Kenya those days, in 85, 86, 87. Yeah, we had sons of politicians, ministers, PCs, we had PSS.
They'll bring their children
With
there.
with the kids there, so we somehow would afford. And so I remember that night, the school had a sugarcane plantation. They had planted sugar. Sony Sugar was just after Kanga, Awendo, where Sony Sugar was. So in the middle of the sugarcane plantation, we had created a sitting space where we would hide and do our weed. And so I remember that night, about 17 people became crazy. Yes. Yeah, right from the sugarcane.
Like completely crazy.
Yes.
It's out of
weed.
Weed, only weed.
Because, of course, you know the weed, what we do, put in the changa, dry it, and roll it.
Yes, then you would overdo it.
And then we would have like 50 rolls. And the 50 rolls are going around. You know, we used to call it chain. So you find,
smoke, you give it.
Yeah, you smoke,
like that.
it goes like 50 are going around.
So you don't even have a break per se.
No, until you finish. But because of us, our tolerance, the drug tolerance in our body was higher than these other guys. 17. Yeah, these other guys.
Yes.
Maybe some were trying, some were the ones or 2-3 puffs. But as we are like, you do one
How many were you?
About 25.
25 minus 17.
Yeah, so
that is 8 people.
About or less.
Yes.
About maybe 5.
Who came out normal?
Yes. I can't count.
So 5. These ones, they went crazy completely.
Yes, they were taken to Ombo district. By then, nowadays I think it's a referral. Ombo in Migori town. Yeah, the school was closed.
Because of that?
Yeah. Yes. Guys were taken to hospital. Some were screaming my name and the other guy.
Your name?
Yeah.
Because you're the...
Yeah. Isaack Mepea Mimi Bangi, something like that. And so the doctors knew. I was there taking them to hospital. And when they screamed my name, I would disappear somehow. So that night, even the police were called. Yeah, the school was closed for 3 weeks. It was announced on VOK. Then we were called back on. Those days, you had to rely on the radio for news. We were called back. And we were warned not. But I've come to realize something. Sometimes I do schools. I do talks to schools.
Yeah.
You'd find a national school. Now, I'm talking of now that homosexuality is rampant.
Is rampant.
Or lesbianism. But you find the head teachers don't want to accept it because it will tarnish
their name.
Their name. So for the sake of the reputation,
yes. Let us ushush.
Yeah, it's hush. But they know it's happening. But they don't want to talk about it because this school, this this school, yeah. So we were told, we were warned not to
engage in
it again, but of course it continued. So one time third term, around October, we used to begin our exams on October 21st.
That is now KCSE or
KCE. Those days
KCE.
it was KCE, Kenya Certificate of Education.
Yes.
And just around, I think, October, when guys are seriously reading, I pretended to be sick.
You didn't want to do the exams?
To go to preps.
Oh, you didn't want to go to preps?
Yeah, because I remember even during preps, I was a DJ. So I used to write for people songs, for Michael Jackson, Madonna, Whitney Houston. And they would pay me some few coins. Yeah, so that was my homework, writing guys' songs and stuff. And so I pretended to be sick. And I remained in the dormitory. And so after 30 minutes, when it was quiet, everybody was in preps. I'm alone in the dormitory. I removed my weed. I started smoking. And there's a prefect who had always suspected that's what I do.
Now let me ask you, this is the second incident you can't forget.
Yeah, the second one. So I remember that. No, before I go to this, out of the 17 guys I told you
that went bananas.
Yeah, 3. We're talking of 87. We're in 2025.
This is 2025. Yes.
Yeah, 2025.
Yes.
3 up to now.
They're still mad.
They're crazy. They walk naked in some towns.
Oh God.
3 towns.
Yeah.
I can't mention
the other
them.
how many? 13?
Yeah, some
13?
Some didn't do the exams.
Some didn't do the exams.
Yeah.
The other 13 are healed.
Yeah, some I meet them and some are good, but 3, the ones I know, some died. Though later, not as a result of that.
Yes.
Later after Form 4.
Yes.
Some died.
That's so heartbreaking. Yes.
So that it pains me because I know I'm responsible.
Yes.
I know 3. Even as we speak, even the other time I was being told, go and reach your friend, is still walking naked, is still crazy. I know 3 as we speak in those towns I can't mention, but in South Nyanza. Walking naked in the bus park, they sleep there. I have only been sent pictures of them, so it pains me. Yeah, so
you reach out though sometimes?
I have not, but my friends, because we have a Kanga alumni group, they always update me, and I should reach out. In fact, I think I should try and reach out to them. Yeah, so this other one,
the
now,
second incident now.
Yeah, prefect. I remember it was in Form 2. I was in Form 4. It was called Philip. So he came and found me smoking in the dorm.
In the dorm.
Yeah, and he told me he'll report me. And I dared him to do that.
You dared him?
Yeah. So, in fact, he had said he'll report me the following day. So what I did, I told him, and tonight you'll see. You'll see.
This is at night, during prep night.
Yes.
So he got you.
Yes.
You told him off.
Yeah, I was smoking weed in the dormitory.
Yes. Then you told him tonight.
Yeah.
You will see.
Yeah, because he told me he's going to report.
Yeah.
And I told him, you will see.
Tonight.
Yeah. So I remember now guys came from preps. It was about 9:30. So I was looking for him all over. Looking for him, and word went round that Isaac is looking for you. I had 2 friends. I don't want to mention them for security reasons.
It is well.
Yeah, so we looked for him. We didn't find him. We went, of course, did our changa, did our weed to charge, So when we were going to bed, he wasn't there. His bed was empty.
He was afraid.
Yeah, because he knew who I was in school. So I go to bed, and then when I look up at the roof, he was like holding the rails on the roof. There's where he was hiding. And we had got stones, big ones, and we had put them under our bed.
You were sleeping in the same dormitory?
Yes.
So you've looked for him everywhere, but this boy had climbed the roof. We didn't have a ceiling. So we have the rails.
The bow, the wooden.
That is how afraid he was.
Yes.
You were bad.
Yes. And so we see him. And I signal my friend, Diole.
You have stones.
Yeah, that's where we started with this big stones. Up.
Under bed.
Yeah,
he was looking at you.
Yeah, he was like holding.
Yeah.
But facing down.
Yes. And looking.
Yeah. So I hit him with a big stone. There's where he left the rails come falling down.
A long time ago, we used to have high roof. Was it high roof or just kawaida roof?
It was a high roof. It was a decent dormitory. I remember it was the late Isack Mwibanda, the PS, and was the chairman. President Moi was the patron. So that dormitory, the one I was sleeping in, was Isack, was Oyugi and Alpha, I think.
So let me ask you. Okay, I'm still stuck with this. What was the name of the boy?
Philip.
Yeah. Now, Philip fell.
Yeah.
Now, as you're throwing a stone...
I hit him with a stone. That's why he fell.
You hit him with a stone, a big stone.
Of course, it was big.
But the trajectory, I'm looking at the angle in which you hit somebody, unatupa. It doesn't have to necessarily come to where you are. It comes down. It didn't get any other person.
No, because I moved, so I was throwing this way.
So it went this way.
It went this way.
It didn't.
Of course, when it hit him,
it comes down.
Yeah, it also reduces the impact.
Yes.
So when it's coming down, by then you don't care.
Yeah. Unajua uko you are.
Yeah, and then you want to
revenge. Not to revenge,
even
to silence.
To kill.
Even to kill.
Yeah, because we hit him when he fell down. There was commotion in the...
Now you're saying we. Did the other boys, the two boys...
Yeah. They joined me.
Also threw stones.
Yes. When I said Ndiole, we were sharing. We were neighbors. I mean, I was sleeping down and this one there, the other one there. So when I said Ndiole, our first reaction was to get the stones, and we threw, in fact, at the same time. So we hit him.
Fell.
He falls down. He falls down. We start hitting him, beating him. There was commotion in the dormitory. I remember even that night, police were called from Rongo police station to come because they thought it was a strike. There was a commotion. So somehow through the commotion, he was rescued. And then we took his mattress, beddings, his metallic box. And in Kanga, during our time, even the mattress was provided, the plates,
everything.
The basins.
This is a school for the oo and oos.
Yeah. So you just went with your bag.
When you say we took, it's the three of you.
Yeah. Burnt all these things.
This commotion is happening.
Yeah, the commotion now is been rescued somehow. During when we hit him, there was noise. See him screaming, him falling down.
Now the beating, the three of you are the ones who are beating him. So after beating him, you leave him.
No, we didn't leave. The commotion, through the commotion, somehow, guys managed to pull him. and take him away.
So as they pulled in, you guys took
Went for his things.
his things.
Yes.
You burnt.
We burned
Kwani
them.
kulikuwa na inaitwa nini kiberiti wapi?
But we were smokers.
Oh, you are smokers.
Yeah,
How
we
did
were
I
smokers.
forget that?
We were smokers, and he found me smoking in the dorm anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, during those days, I remember the matchbox, not like now, they were the ones for sportsman. It is paper.
Yeah, it is paper.
Yeah, it was paper,
yes,
so you just...
it's white.
Yeah, and then a red,
Yes.
so you can have it. It's like a sachet.
Yeah.
You can have it in the pocket. It won't make noise like people know this is a matchbox.
This boy hasn't done anything to you per se. He just found you.
Yeah, he reported me.
Oh, he reported you.
How dare he threatened to report me.
He threatened. He didn't even do it.
Yeah. So I wanted to silence him before.
But now you've blown the whole thing.
Yeah. So the police were called in. We slept outside.
The entire student fraternity.
No, the three of us.
The three of you.
Because the police were looking for us.
Oh, you went into hiding after burning his things.
Yes, because the police came, and we went into hiding. It was on a Friday. So on Saturday morning, we came back to school about 3 o'clock at night when things had cooled. And so I think it was on a Saturday morning, the principal summoned us to go to his office.
Mwakakuja.
Yeah. Then he told us to call home. And before that, I'd been suspended like 3 times.
Oh, before now, this actual incident.
Yeah, so my mother...
The first one, were you suspended?
No.
You weren't?
The school was closed.
Oh, the school was closed.
Yeah, so we came back after 3 weeks. And it's just that there are things I can't mention on camera. Yeah. But
Philip was okay?
But he was taken to hospital.
He was taken to hospital?
Even the following day he had bruises, swollen face.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I called home. We had an extension in the house, so I called. So my mother, she has to travel. So even the time I was being suspended, it's my mother. I call, she comes all the way from Nairobi to school, then talk. The school was, the principal really wanted me to read because...
Wanted you to do what?
To read.
To read.
Yeah, because to study, because I was a clever person anyway. I was clever. Yeah, so he used to just talk to me like a father.
Yeah, he saw life in you.
Yeah. So my mother comes to school. That I remember it was a week to exams.
To now,
to
national exams.
To 21st October.
This is national exams?
1987. Sorry?
To national exams?
Yeah. Yeah, KCE. So my mother comes to school. And then the master says, now we are done. We're expelling your boy. So just get your stuff, leave. The police was still there. Leave the school compound. And I told my mom, I don't want to read. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. Because by then, I was already a DJ, so I knew I can still go and continue DJing. So I told my mother, no, I'm not. I refused school. My mother is crying. I'm saying I'm not. I'm done with school.
Okay, and you're almost finishing school.
Yeah.
Mm.
Exams are 1 week
Mm.
to 1 week to exams. So
Mm.
I always remember 3 gentlemen. They were in Form 6
Mm-hmm.
while I was in Form 4.
Mm.
This the MP for Ruaraka,
Mm.
TJ Kajwang.
Mm.
Then there's the MP for Madare,
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Luoch.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a gentleman, I think he's HR of Kengen. It's called Obondo.
Mm.
They came to me. I decided I'm walking out of school, I'm going home.
Mm.
So they decided to come and escort me and my mom
Mm.
outside the school.
And then there were students.
Yeah, they were still doing their Form 6.
Oh,
The
you studied with them.
Yeah, their first A-level
Mm.
Kanga High School
Yeah.
in 1987, Form 6.
Mm.
They came in Form 5 in 86.
Mm.
And then they did their Form 6 in 87 as we were doing our Form 4.
Mm.
So while they were escorting me, they told me, Isaac, you've come a long way.
Mm.
If you decide you're going,
Mm.
you'll get a Z. I think those days.
Which was?
Yeah, no certificate.
No certificate.
Yeah, 0000XXX, like somebody who didn't do.
Yeah.
So they told me, Isaac, you've come a long way. So what you do, just sit your exams. Even if you get...
whatever you'll get.
At least you have a certificate.
Yes.
You know? And it made sense. It made sense. I told them, okay, I think, let me do it. They knew I was clever because there were some cuts I would lead the whole school. Yes.
Like despite doing everything else.
Like English. When our class did English, because we used to have cuts every class, every Friday. And by Monday, they would be announced on parade.
Yeah.
And when we did English, I would top the school. Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. So they knew I had potential. And so I decided to do my exam. That meant my mother had to go out at the market, get me a room, rent me a room for the month, buy for me a stove,
bed,
sufurias, plates, spoons, basins, plates, you know, mattress, blanket, because we were using the school's property. So that's what she did. So she goes back to Nairobi. She leaves me in the house. Now I'm all alone. Of course, I'm not cooking. I'm out now drinking,
full time,
doing my weed, go to school, police escort, go to exams. I do police escort, go back to my house, same thing. And even I remember after exams, then the ID guys came to school.
ID?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I saw this an opportunity for me because I was finishing school and I knew those days if police arrested you in town, if you didn't have a student ID, then they would arrest you. So I saw this is a right opportunity for me. So I took my ID. They came to schools. I think, but then the little Yugi Zakaya was the PS internal security. So he brought those ID guys to schools. We were given ID. So I had my ID. And so there I go home. In fact, before I go home, I sold everything that my mother bought, including school uniform. I just went home with what I had on. And so there I went full time, DJing. I'm a grown up now.
Now, what is your father saying now?
I remember one time we had a family meeting because by then It's where we stayed, it had spread. Everybody knew. In fact, parents would tell kids, don't walk
Don't
with
be, yeah, so and so.
Mtoto Mwibanda.
Mm.
You know, there they in the barracks, they would call you with your father's name. Yeah? They'll refer you, they'll identify you with your father. Yeah, Mtoto. So, yeah, so it became crazy. And so it became worse. I remember that December 87. Now I had my ID. Now it was full blown. DJing, drugs. Now I'm already a chronic addict. Yeah, so my father calls a meeting. And my mother is there. My siblings, we were 7 plus me. And my dad is like, tell us, what is your problem?
Everybody there, your siblings, your
what
mom.
What is your problem? And I remember that day I told my dad, look here. Did I send an application
to be born
for you to give birth to me? And I remember my dad cried. We were having dinner, and when he started crying, all the others started crying. My dad, this guy is in KDF. He's brought home in a Land Rover with a driver, you know. So he's like, he has a position, he's a military intelligence officer, a tough guy. He's gone on wars, he's fought some wars, having medals on his chest, you know. He cried.
Your mom?
Of course, the whole family. And when they started crying, I left, banged the door, and disappeared. I went, of course, did my stuff, disappeared for I think a week, came back after he'd left. And so now I became so rude, abusing my mom and beating up all the boys, the kids in the house. And so nobody wanted me in the house. Luckily, we used to have a servants' quarter. We used to call them cubes, where I would sleep alone. And of course, there's where I did my stuff. Even the rest of the military guys were complaining of the stench, the weed, and maybe bringing in their girls in there, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's 87.
After high school.
Yeah. Then results come. I passed. I did well. Yes, I did well. I went from 5 in Bungoma. That's 88. Same script, same thing.
89.
88, 89, did my exams from out. Again, the same thing. Now, when results came 89 December, my Form 6 A-level, I didn't, during those days, there was what we call the cutoff points.
You didn't get the cutoff points.
Yeah, I was to do law. I wanted to be a lawyer. So from 5, Form 6, during our time, we studied 3 subjects. English,
only 3?
Yeah, English. I did CRE and the history, and then
depending on what you want to do.
Yeah.
All right.
So it was like pre-university.
Yeah.
So you like major on that. So I passed in English. The rest I didn't do well.
In history and CRA.
Yeah, so my points didn't allow me. By then, during those days, law was the highest art subject to qualify. The points, I think, were 13 points to do that. Can't remember. So I didn't qualify. I think that was the first time in my life I regretted. If only
you fell to the pinch.
Yeah, because I really wanted to go to the university and be a lawyer. So I regretted. And then now to console myself.
You dug deep.
Of course. And then in 1990, my dad got for me... No, before my dad got for me a job, my follower, there's a time in school I'd refused school.
Mm-hmm.
So he got me.
Mm-hmm.
He's a year younger.
Then you.
So he found me.
Mm-hmm.
So we did exams with him.
Oh, you did
Form
with
4 and
your
form,
brother?
and Form
Yes.
6.
Yes.
And so my dad thought it's good for him to go for further studies.
Mm-hmm. You're doing the same theory maths.
No,
Theory. Yeah.
him he was economics, because he
Oh.
went to do BCom financial.
In a different
something.
school, huh?
He went outside.
Oh, outside the country.
Yeah, for his degree and masters.
Oh no, I'm asking. Now the high school, the 3 years. Is it the 3 years? You're through with the 4 years. Now you're doing the 2 years.
I've finished. The results have come. I'm regretted why I've not gone to the university.
Oh, for him, he went out.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
so you remember that I had started hating my father.
Mm-hmm. When he
'Cause-
bet you the first time.
Yeah.
Yes.
He did it several times
Yeah.
until that time he cried is when he said, now
I've washed my hands.
I've washed, literally said that.
Yeah.
Nimeinua mkono na wewe.
But he will still pay your fees.
Yeah, so my bro went. I remember that time we were taking him to the airport. I remember I'd taken a lot of drugs. And I hated my dad because I saw now he's favoring Martin. My bro is called Martin. He's favoring Martin at my expense. I'm the firstborn.
I should be the one.
Yeah, so I really hated him.
You didn't think that you didn't pass exams?
But I would have qualified.
You would have?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just that I didn't qualify in Kenya, but outside
you would have.
I would qualify.
All right. Now I see.
And so went to the airport, well, stoned on drugs, came back. I hated my dad more. And now that made me more rebellious.
And now you are 20?
Yep, 19.
You're 19?
Yep.
All right.
It's 89, 19. Yeah. It's almost 20. And so 1990, my dad got for me some job.
Some job?
Yeah, at Firestone. It's an international American company. Those days now.
Firestone deals with
tires.
Tires.
Yeah, it was the only factory, I think, in Africa that was making tires.
In Africa?
Yeah, in Africa. Yeah, and so it was a very good job. Good money. I'm still doing my stuff.
Now on another level?
Yeah, because now I've started working.
Yeah, you have money.
Yeah, I have money, and a beer by then in the Afco was 5 shillings.
1990?
Yeah. I'm getting thousands of shillings as salary.
Yeah.
And
then thousands, so a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot. And I was in the accounts department. But now my duty was one to relieve the switchboard operator. Yeah, because they wanted somebody who could speak good English, that was the interview, by the way. Good English, I qualified, and an A-level person, that was the minimum, which I qualified. Good English, good grades in English, which I also qualified. But I remember one thing when I was going for the interview, I had Calicute and my earring. And so this boss looks at me, is like, this guy is not serious. So I had gone through the HR, who was my father's friend. And so, because she had told me, go and see the accounting manager, and then come back to me and report to me what happened.
Mm.
So this guy says, "You go.
Mm.
We'll call you."
Mm-hmm.
And then I go back to the HR.
Mm.
No, I'd removed my hearing,
Mm-hmm.
but
The
the
calculator is
Kali,
you can't. Yeah.
because I went on a Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and that weekend, of course, I was busy in clubs.
Mm-hmm.
But I tried to put water
Mm-hmm.
so that
to
yeah,
at
to,
least really
to disguise the Kali. But
yes. It was
from
there.
fog, you could still the Kali, the
Yeah.
Kaliness
Yeah.
of the hair.
Mm.
And so I went back to the HR. Then tell her, the boss has told me. I go, he'll call me.
Mm.
So he picks the phone,
Mm.
calls my boss, Toby.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any reason why Isaac shouldn't start work immediately?
Mm.
Then I don't know what the guy said, but I was told go back.
Mm.
So I go back. The boss told me, so what you do, go and shave.
Mm.
Go and shave your hair.
Mm.
Be decent.
Mm-hmm.
When you come,
Mm.
you can begin next week. I'm
week.
giving you 1 week
Mm.
to go and groom yourself and to come. So I went, I told her, okay. She said, okay, that's fine. See you on Monday.
Mm.
I didn't do anything. For that week, I was plaiting my hair.
You even got it worse.
Yeah. So I reported, but now I'd shaved now, but hairstyle box, so punk, yeah. So my hair behind here, used to call it Ray Parker Jr. There used to be a musician. Ray Parker Jr. There used to be a musician called Ray Parker Jr. Even Lionel Richie had the same hairstyle. It's somehow.
You shave this side?
Yeah, and then the corners. The corners here and then here.
You have photos?
I'll try and get some.
Yes.
I have 1 or 2 somewhere. And so I go, start work. I'm told now you'll be relieving the switchboard operator. You'll be on the switchboard. Hello, Preston, can I help you? I want to speak to Mr. Okay, just a minute, hold on. You call the extension. This guy on the line for you, Yeah,
that is like... what, customer service?
Yes, but there is a switchboard reception. And during that time, first on a lot of prominent people come.
Calling and coming.
They'll come to buy tires. I remember the Mulumutisias, Kip Kuleis, even President Moi himself was a distributor, Segaton. He was Firestone's distributor. They used to come. So the company bought for me 4 suits.
Oh, the first
4 suits. Because even the grooming, they told me I didn't get to their stand. So they bought for me 4 suits. Yes. 8 shirts, 8 ties. And you go to Nairobi, there's a shop. It used to be called Dilton Tailors on Moi Avenue. And I remember those days in 1990, I was putting on 1 suit was 10,000.
That's a lot of money.
Nice designer suits.
Yes.
Dilton Tailors.
1990, 10,000.
Yeah. 1 suit. And I had 4. First one is paying. That's why they were referring me to that shop. Because of quality. It was like the company tailor. He was an Asian with materials, imported materials. So there I am. But I never used to put on my tie. I used to have it in my pocket. And the boy, where's your tie? It's yes, I want it on the neck. So that's I packed. The friction started with my boss. Tell him, no, I can't put it on. Yeah, and I'm at the switchboard. Yeah, they come. Of course, I'm drinking. Now I have money. Start drinking. I'm still DJing.
At night.
Yeah. The company had a cafeteria, buffet every day, chicken. Every day, morning breakfast, bacon, sausage, and coffee. Breakfast, There's lunchtime, 4 o'clock tea, there's dinner at 8 o'clock. Then the company drops you home. We had buses. Yeah, then you get sick, there's medical insurance. You go to Nairobi Hospital, even a hangover. You go to Nairobi Hospital. The company pays. I'm given good money. I have suits. The company cleans for me my suits.
Dry
White
clean.
rose, those days, white rose.
I think it's
Everything,
still there.
everything was executive. The dry cleaner, not Mbuni. There was Mbuni, but White Rose was. I don't know if it's still there.
I think White Rose is
dry
still there.
cleaners. Yeah,
Yes.
you take it there. You take the receipt. You use your money. You take the receipt.
So basically, your money, your salary is your salary. There's
Yes.
nothing you do with it.
That's meant for drinking.
Yeah. Transport.
There's the company.
The company.
Food, the company.
Like
clothes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I was also in charge of the stationery store. And then I could bill people. If I'm at the switchboard and somebody wants to, because the company allowed you to receive a reverse call.
Oh, a reverse call.
Yeah, so I'm at there, somebody says, yeah, the post, you call the post office. Then they call you, they say, so-and-so wants to call so-and-so. Do you allow that? If you say yes, then they put the guy on the line. Then
it was there.
At the end of the month, the post office send the billing, what we used to call it, the sheet, yeah? There used to be a name for that. So that now at every end month, I tabulate, you receive this call, the post office, telecom was charging you this. So what guys would do, they would buy me drinks so that I don't bill them.
Oh.
Because I would bill you and then they deduct that from your salary. Yeah, so guys would buy me drinks, I don't bill them. So the company pays for them. You know, company first had a lot of money. And so they do that. Then I was also in charge of the stationery store. I would give out stationery, the whole company.
Yeah.
So I'd give out pencils when schools are opening, give out HB, Stidler pencils, imported to guys, full scarves, stationery. I give out pens, one box. So I'd get favors. I go to a club, guys see me, they know this guy. If we handle him well, he'll not bill us, he'll give us this. So that made my drinking more worse. And
you are saving?
No.
Were you saving? No.
Yeah.
You are?
I was saving because I never used my money.
Because they are buying you.
They are buying me. And even sometimes when Firestone was very specific. If you're ordering, let's say, HB Stidler pencil, red and black or yellow and black, imported from Germany, that's what they wanted. And then the engineering department, their stationery was even more complicated because it was very specific for drawing the architects and the draftsman and those engineers. So if they want something, it's that they want.
Wow.
And I was the one who was ordering. So if the Asian brings low quality, I say, I'm not signing. And if I don't sign your delivery,
so they bribe you.
There's no check for you.
So they bribe you.
Yeah. They tell me, let's meet at Boulevard Hotel after this. We talk this thing.
Yeah.
So, I'll just put them in the store. You come. Let's meet at Boulevard. We talk.
Yeah. So you worked there for some time?
6 years.
For 6 years.
Yeah,
doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was there. Yeah. Of course, with a lot of warnings.
Yeah.
So I go to Boulevard. I'm given 5,000 Kenya shillings. Those days, there were no 1,000 notes, 500.
500 notes.
Yeah, so they even buy you alcohol, get you a room if you want at the hotel. Yeah, so this is when I started doing cocaine.
Cocaine. Hey, to add to the
Yeah.
list, 7
Yeah,
or
yeah,
8.
cocaine and heroin.
Yeah, cocaine and heroin.
Yes.
Mm.
On top of I'm doing all the other stuff
Mm.
every day.
Bangi,
Yeah.
miraa, alcohol, mud
Cigarettes,
cigarette, Valium, weed.
Now I'm doing mud drugs and cocaine.
And cocaine.
I mean,
Heroin.
I'm doing heroin and cocaine.
So these are 8. One body.
Yeah. Don't forget I'm still clubbing. Absenteeism. Sometimes I go to work. I would go direct from the club to get the work bus. We used to be picked at Development House.
Development House was there.
Yeah, it's the old one. We used to be dropped at Ambassador. And then in the morning, we'd be picked at Development. For me, that was convenient because I'll just hop from Florida 2000 club to the bus.
Florida 2000. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa inaitwanga F1.
Yeah, F2.
F2. Same F2.
Yeah,
or Florida 2000 F2.
Yeah, it used to be called Florida 2000. That was the name. So, but now we used to call it F2. Yeah. And so I just hopped straight from the club to the bus, drunk. Of course, you sleep to work. You go to work, and we used to go to the clinic. There used to be the mouthwash, just to try and
mask.
Yeah, but what I'd done the whole night was just too much.
So you never
I'm shaggy. I'm shaggy, no hair. I've not combed my hair. Maybe the same clothes I had. Then you go, the first thing, you sit at the desk, you sleep. The boss is there. Hey, I want this report. He has to wake you up, literally. Come on, I want this report. It's end month. Your journal, J used to be called, your journal for the telephone billing, the stationery. So, warning letters. And the HR was there. Our friend. So I was protected somehow. Yeah, so it went worse. I would smoke even weed in the store at work. And I remember the training room was next to the store. Yes, one time I did a mistake. There was training and I didn't know. And I was smoking weed. They came knocking. I used to switch off the light. So they knocked, I didn't open. I did and then the boss is looking for me. They know I'm around. They're calling the gate is not left. They're calling extensions in departments, engineering, production. Have you seen? Yeah, we saw him walking. We saw him. Yeah, we saw him, but
he's just around.
Yes, but later after the training is when I sneaked out. But then, of course, I had to bring an excuse, blah, blah, blah.
But your eye?
Yeah, of course, the eyes. So, around that time is when my boss, not my immediate boss, but he was a boss in another department, brought his girl for attachment. Yeah, secretarial. So we had an affair. We got a baby. The one who's now
the girlfriend
30.
of your boss.
No, the daughter.
Daughter
of my boss.
So you
not
got
immediate
a
boss, but in fact he was senior than my boss. Yeah, in terms of hierarchy, he was after the Americans. In fact, he was the first senior African, second in the whole hierarchy of Firestone. Yeah, it was the first. The first.
Good. So she got a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, so she didn't finish college. And so stuff happened. Didn't marry.
You didn't marry?
Yeah. And then got in another relationship,
Mm-hmm.
got another,
Baby.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's when now I was sacked from employment, when this baby with my second relationship was, I think, 3 months. Or now it was the HR I knew who was protecting me somehow got transferred, went to some, I wouldn't mention where she went. They brought another one who was at the Nation Media then.
That is how you got sacked.
Yeah, she came, just like the Bible says, and the Pharaoh came who didn't know Joseph. Yeah, so after a few months, now was summary dismissal, absenteeism, and drug substance abuse, because being rude to bosses. So I got sacked. So now is when now the money I was putting in the bank,
you started using.
it was I had accumulated. I had a lot of money. And I remember my first withdrawal, I didn't even remember my signature.
What?
It was Standard Chartered. Standard Chartered archives this. That's Standard Chartered. There used to be a bank downstairs. Where is that? Mr. Price is now.
Yeah.
There used to be a Standard Chartered bank. I go there, want to withdraw money. They
You
look
don't?
at my balance. I have a lot of money, but I can't sign.
They started questioning you.
Yeah, of course, they have to go in there and remove the card where you applied. There is a picture, and then now you have to use your thumbprint. They have to call the manager. Yeah, so. And I remember it was during the day. I went to the bank drunk. So I was going to withdraw money to go and drink.
And they already drunk.
Yeah. And so I paid the house for 1 year. Of course, I'm drinking. And then by then I was married to this other wife.
Yes.
She also is dismissed from work.
She was dismissed.
Yes.
Oh, you used to work in the same place?
No. She used to work in National Housing.
She was also drinking?
Yes.
Only alcohol?
Yes.
Okay.
I tried introducing her to weed. She almost went crazy. We had to rush for milk to cool. So we decided this is too much for you. So she
just did alcohol.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she sucked. Now the money I had is just withdrawing. Then I applied for the ATM. So even at night, I remember I could go to a club, look at the bill, run, withdraw the money, come and pay the bill. Of course, I go to a club. They used to know me. If I don't have money, I'll just sign the bill. I'll bring the money the following day or even end month.
Yeah.
So sometimes end of the month, you go and pay even 20,000 Kenya shillings then. Yeah.
That could have bought even a shamba or something.
That's the mistake. I didn't even
invest.
think of investment.
But how could you?
Yeah, because for me, the priority was drugs.
Yeah.
And so I'm dismissed. She's dismissed. After 1 year, we couldn't pay rent. I had exhausted my money. The landlord came, locked the house, took everything. Yeah, everything. And
hadn't you paid the rent for 1 year?
Yeah. No, I had paid, but after that, after I exhausted the money, I went for a month or two.
Okay.
I didn't have money. Because by then I had known I'd get work.
You'll just go to your father.
Yeah, and then my uncle was the Minister of Foreign Affairs then. And I knew.
You'll get work.
I go to my uncle, I'll get work immediately. Because the other brother of mine who went abroad came with a master's degree and got work.
Martin now.
Yes. And by then, I'd sunk so deep in drugs that even in family meetings, I would disrupt. Yeah, and even now, the same uncle would tell me, if you get caught, never call me.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one who'll come and beat you in that police cell. He was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, a powerful guy. So. But once I was arrested with cocaine in town, and I mentioned him.
What's his name?
It was called Elijah Mwangale. Yeah. Yeah. So once I was arrested with drugs, I called him. So we reached the Central Police Station. I told them, call, it's 444-777. You know, those days, Kililesho, Lavington had 5 numbers. The rest of the estates had 6 digits, 4 numbers. And they had 7-9 was Eastlands, 4-4 was Westlands. There's a way
the coding.
Yeah, so they released me when I gave them the number, and they checked the directory and they saw. Yeah, and I was praying, let them not call.
And they didn't.
They didn't.
Yeah, out of fear.
Yeah, out of fear. You'll explain, and I would say, I said he's my father. I didn't even say he's my uncle. I said, just call my dad, tell him you've arrested me. Of course, they didn't. So I was so. By then, he knew I was sacked because of that. So he told me, you style up and come.
When you've styled up.
Yeah, style up. So. By then, we didn't hear of rehabs.
Yeah, we didn't have rehabs.
Yeah,
we didn't have an Akada. Yeah. This is which year?
1996.
1996. You only have one baby?
2.
Or you have 2?
The one with my boss's daughter. And then this one.
No, I'm saying with your second. You have 1.
Yeah, we have 1 kid.
Okay.
He's months old. Yeah. And so I sank deeper. So went to stay with my mom. By then my dad had retired, gone home. My mom was almost retiring. By then we had other siblings in universities, others in college. So my mother was waiting for them to finish so that he goes. She goes and join my dad at home. And so I'm staying with my mother.
And your wife?
She she's also born in Nairobi. So she went to their place with a baby. And so there I am. I used to afford drinking in high-end hotels, Hilton,
Your
Intercontinental. Yeah.
Give you the money?
The Asians, remember the ones who bring things I refuse. If I say I'm not receiving, you have to give me money. Yeah, that's how I used to survive. Yeah, stationary. Yeah, I just refuse. I'm not taking this. Yeah, so you come to Boulevard, come to go to jockey clubs. It was in Hilton, Intercontinental, Poolside. Yeah, so. There I was high flying, go to nice restaurants in town.
Yes.
Clubs. I'm there. No work, no money. It's taking long with no work. And so I'm there. I started using jet fuel.
What is that?
Jet fuel is jet fuel, aviation fuel. What they put in the jet to fly.
We are at number 8. This is number 9 drug.
Yeah.
So you've done now 9 drugs, you know?
Yeah.
And so how did your turnaround come to be?
Yeah, now is where I'm going there now.
Yes.
And now I'm staying with my mom. And my mom started a prayer group, praying for me every Tuesday. They would fast and pray for me. I would be the prayer item. Whenever my mother got any believers ombea mtoto yangu Isaac. And funny, the more she did that, the worse I became. Now I'm doing jet fuel. If I don't have money to buy the Valium, there are guys who used to go to the dump site, Dandora, where Madare Mental Hospital was dumping the expired drugs. The one they are throwing away, they get that and sell. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm here hanging out in slums.
To go to us.
Yeah, because there's where the jet fuel is. There's where those expired drugs are. And it was bad because jet fuel is something else. And then taking those expired mental illness drugs and the weed. Yeah, so there are times I was almost mental. Yeah, you do stuff until people believe this is a mental case, which was true. And that's why when I started reflecting about my life, because of course, within that time, I almost died about 4 times because of overdose. Within that time, I was suicidal, almost died by suicide. Nowadays, we don't say committed. Died by suicide. I almost attempted suicide 4 times. 2, I wanted to throw myself from a building in town. Yeah, and so I started asking myself, is this... By then, also my friends...
Which is this?
Sorry?
Which year?
That is 2000.
2000. So your friends?
Yeah, died. Many accidents, HIV. Yeah, to cut the story short, that is the time I was contemplating joining devil worship.
Oh my God.
Because of money. Yeah, I almost did. That's another story. And now I'm there. My mother is praying for me. They have started a prayer movement. And then I come. She wasn't sleeping until I knocked the door. She's the one opening.
She's waiting for you.
Yeah. And she would tell me, come, my son, you're back. Come home and sleep. That time I would cheat. I would lie to her that I've been called for an interview, especially on Fridays, so that she gives me 100. I know transport. That is 20 shillings for jet fuel, 20 for marijuana, 10 shillings for cigarettes, and this for fare to town to a club. I know I'll get friends, I'll drink. And she'll tell me, I know you're lying to me, but I'm your mother. I'd rather give you this than I hear you've gone to steal.
Yeah.
And they are stoned. But I'm praying, I know what you're going to use this money for. Those were times I would drink and vomit. And I would remember prayers. Those prayers are working. And there are times I would find myself in risky situations. I've gone to look for drugs in slums or dangerous places where people get killed. And I remember I would come out and tell God, if you
remove me,
you save me today, I'll serve you.
Yeah.
I'll serve you for the rest of my life. Of course, God is good. He'll save me. Immediately I pass the place, I'll go to the nearest club and tell God, this one you'll understand, and God is faithful. So I used to pray also when I'm walking there. And the following day, I will hear somebody was murdered on that bridge the same night. So it went that way for 2001. Now is when my wife got born again. So she came that Sunday. She had come from church. She came to tell me, of course, even when we had separated, there's a time she came home and told my family, now I'm done with this guy.
Him.
Yeah, so but he can come and take
to see the child.
Yeah, of course. I used to go on weekends, take the
kids.
go to a club, drink, and then return him when I'm drunk home. Because that was the only thing I knew was a club. And so she came, she said, I'm born again. I've forgiven you. And we are done. But we can only get back on one condition. If you change.
If you change.
That's the word she used, if you change. I remember that Friday, Saturday, she came on a Sunday evening. That Friday, Saturday, I had not slept. I'd been clubbing. She came even, I wanted to sleep in the evening. And so I escorted her, I came back, did drugs so that I sleep. But that night I didn't sleep because I kept hearing her voice telling me the only way to change is salvation. The only way to change is salvation. Clearly.
Wow.
The only way to
like somebody
change
speaking.
Yeah, and I didn't sleep.
Yeah. That was the voice that was echoing.
And keeping me awake.
Uh-huh.
I tried to do drugs so that I sleep. I didn't sleep. That was the third night in a row.
You couldn't sleep.
Day and night.
You can't do drugs.
Yeah, because
the voice was so.
Yeah, because there's some drugs also, like ecstasy. When you take, you're very energetic.
Yeah.
You see. And so in the morning I decided, I think, I'm getting born again. Now there's a ministry, the one now, they used to fast for me every Tuesday, come for and break the fast at home at 6. And sometimes I would chase them in the house or go.
This is a ministry of women led by your mother.
That one, and there's another ministry called Tumaini. Tumaini, they have a lot of churches in the slums, Korokocho, Kibera, some slums in South C, South B slums. It's Tumaini. And now my mother had joined that church. Now they're the ones, the ministry and the women of that ministry, including white people, Germans, they used to pray. And they would come, all of them, to break the fast. Now that time, if they found me there, I would smoke.
To chase them.
Yeah. Because, there are many in the house, like 20 people. The door is open. The veranda where they put shoes. I sit there and I smoke while blowing the smoke towards the house, just to irritate them. They never gave hope. They never gave up. So after that time now, I went to a pastor friend in the morning, Pastor Churchill, Malimo. In fact, he stays around here. In fact, yeah. So I go to his house. He had gone to, but then he was doing his theological degree at Park University. He's not in. I go to another one. He was a Baptist pastor. It was called Grace Baptist somewhere. Pastor Ben. Coincidentally, also stays around here. He's not there. He's gone to college. I go back to the house. I do my drugs. I went 3 times to both of them. Then I remembered this church, the Tumaini office. It's just around the corner. So I walked in. I found the bishop. It's called Bishop Wetindi Alfred. And the admin then was called Sylvester Nalo. They were in the office. For me to walk in that office was like a miracle to them. I hated them and I didn't want anything to do with them. And so I go. They see me going in. They're tongue-tied. I always think that they thought I'm crazy. This is a mental case. Then I kneeled down, started crying. I told them I want to get born again.
Wow.
Yeah, it's when they led me to Christ. Quickly, Zileza, so that I go.
You go.
So that if it's mental, at least I'm out of the office. So that's how I got born again. Went and locked myself in the house. Then in the evening, I got Pastor Churchill gave me my first Bible. Then within 3 months, I had done the whole Bible because I was not getting out of the house. Long story, I started
you've not detoxed.
I tried once, God just did a miracle.
Mm.
And prayers work.
Mm.
That's how I quit. I started ministry with Tumaini,
Mm.
2001, 2002.
Mm.
Then 2004, I started going out of the country.
Mm.
Yeah, so by 2005, I was already an international missionary doing a lot of work in Europe with drug addicts. Yeah, so to fast forward, I do youth conferences, I do corporates, alcohol and drugs at workplace. I do prisons. I do seminars, conferences. I do one-on-one addiction counseling.
Wow.
We got back together after
with your
salvation.
wife.
Yeah, now
Yes.
we have 5
kids.
We have 5 kids.
Yes.
Got more, 4 more. Adding the other one, now there are 6. 6, yeah. And so that's what I do.
Wow, what a testimony. Let me tell you, God works in miraculous ways. And when you think that you're down, that is when God lifts you up. When you are broken, you've died to self, there's nothing in you. The one that, remember the woman who was supposed to be stoned, Jesus told them, if you've never sinned, pick a stone and throw it to her. And no one did. So, and again, God used the ones, the less in the society, the ones that people see and think they can't do anything. That is where your ministry is. You've touched souls. I've seen you talking to schools, talking to teenagers, doing conferences, and many people are giving their life to Christ. So in your damaged state, that is when God is lifted.
Yeah, that's true. And just my parting shot. Going back to the Bible, Jesus, just the passage you've quoted, after they left, Jesus asked, where are the people who are condemning you? The mistake we make, especially now in churches, because in churches I'll train on something I call strategic evangelism, where I train churches to reach out, embrace drug addicts when they come to churches, embrace them, love them, just like Jesus I mentioned with the issue of the blood, the Samaritan woman, the tax collectors. Jesus used to hang out with sinners.
Yeah.
So let's embrace them. And I always tell pastors, it's not our work to change people. Me, I tried. Because of time, I didn't go to details of my testimony. They tried, including bringing German doctors to come and help me. It didn't work. The more my mother prayed, the worse it became. But it was for a reason that Jesus knew. One time, He protected and saved me for a reason and a day like this. So let's embrace these people. When they come to church, just receive them as Jesus would receive them. Yeah. What you do, just preach Christ and Christ will change.
Will change. Like just like yours. Yes. Nobody called you. It was a voice, the Holy Spirit voice. So we are going to have another session. Just hang in there, sit, enjoy, listen to this story. You might be down but not out. Salute.
Thank you.